Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Dungeon Boss Respawned. And today we're gonna take a look on the Beast family. I'm gonna do all of the families that have 4 or more characters in them, so that you can, if you want, run a full team of the same family and don't have to mix and match. If I go to assassins, they have 4, but if for example I go to barbarian, we only have 3 barbarians right now, and the only one worth using is Ignus in my opinion. So yeah, we're gonna start with the beasts. I've already done the dragons. I think next will be assassins, so just stay tuned for that. Well, obviously the most iconic beast that we have is Solaris. I know Torchy and Jabber have been in the original game longer than Solaris, but I think Solaris is still one of the best, if not the best, beast in Dungeon Boss and Dungeon Boss Respawn. And also RIP to Dungeon Boss, the servers have been offline for a few days now. We're gonna miss it. It's been such a great time, and yeah, it impacted us all, some more, some less, but it always will be remembered. I still have it installed. I'm probably never gonna uninstall it, even if I can't play it anymore, just to keep the memories here. Okay, so I've already done a video on Wrath, so I'm not gonna immensely cover him again. I'm just gonna check if they changed anything on him. But as I said, I've already covered him. Check out the Wrath video if you want to know about him. We're just quickly gonna take a look. It's the same, and the same. Normal speed, yeah, nothing changed for him. All of his attacks, yeah, nothing changed for him. His skins, yeah. Okay. Solaris. She also has skins. It's the normal one. It's a Fantastic Feast Solaris that I got from the Dungeon Boss from the original game. She is a flying hero, obviously. She is an ancient beast. As you can see here, she also has the ancient tag. Ancient beast allies gain 10% increased max health and start with Phoenix Feather. Corpse cannot be removed for 3 turns, which is good, but I'm not sure if it actually works against Moriko. I think it's still the same buggy thing that we had in the original Dungeon Boss, where it still removes the corpses of beasts even if they have Phoenix Feather. Fury Soul, immune to burn and fear. Immune to fear is very good. Burned, doesn't really matter too much. Deals an additional 10% damage to and receives 10% less damage from nature enemies. I guess that's okay. She doesn't, she's a healer. Her purpose is not to deal damage, it's to heal. When defeated, applies 1 stack of burn for 3 turns to all enemies. Pretty decent if you have a team that revolves around burning and burning damage and healing against, lifesteal against burning enemies. But all in all, burned is not too hefty of a debuff. It takes a few percentage of health each turn. It's decent, but it's not gonna win you the fight on its own. But this one is good. Allies heal for 25% of damage dealt when dealing damage to burn targets. So the synergy is here, applying burning and giving everyone lifesteal. After 3 rounds of being defeated, this character will resurrect at full health, rounds indicated by stack number. Yeah, so she obviously is the phoenix that rises from the ashes. Yeah, from the leftovers arise to restore thanks to this world. Normal speed, nothing too spectacular on the stats. She has the 11% Ancient Beast bonus health that we have from here, which is 10%, but it scales a little bit. Nothing too wild. Her abilities. Pinion Shot does some damage, heals for 10% of the damage dealt, which is not a lot, but it's something, I guess. Ranged magical damage on all enemies for 149 base damage. Applies burned and heals allies for 50% of the damage dealt. So this does 428 base damage and this does 149 base damage. Times 4, so we're at 600 damage. This is 400 damage. So it does 50% more damage than her base, but split up on all 4 enemies. Wow. And 50% of that is healing. Well, I mean, if you just look at her, she has 5,000 health. He has almost 9,000 health. Like 50% from maximum 600, and that's with no like damage reduction or defense calculated within this. Her healing kind of sucks. Sorry. But this is a pretty decent health. Cleanliness? Yeah, that's a writing mistake. 1 debuff from all allies. Kind of bad that it's only 1 debuff. Because like there are heroes that do this every turn. This has a 6 turn cooldown. Then heals for 7,450 health divided amongst allies. I mean, if you have 3 other allies, it's like divided by 4, so it's not even 2k health per ally. I mean, 2,000 health is decent. It's her strongest heal basically, and applies Phoenix Feather for 3 turns. Decent. Solaris sacrifices herself. This one has a turn cost, okay. Alright, they changed that. But like 5 turns. Target allies, resurrects all defeated allies at 80% health. This scales with the level. Then applies invincible to all allies. This is her biggest thing. Invincible. Targeted enemies, ranged magical attack on all enemies for a bit of base damage. Then applies 2 stacks of burn to all enemies. So basically, if you sacrifice her to deal damage to the enemies, you apply 2 stacks of burn from this, and then, where was it? 1 stack, nope, yes, here. 1 stack of burned from this, so instantly 3 stacks of burned, which is pretty good, pretty decent damage over time. No epic yet, and the story doesn't really matter. Overall, her Fire and Flames, obviously her strongest attack. The second would be Phoenix Rising. Yeah. Torchy. We have, whoops, this one and this one, 2 skins. Anyone who uses the phrase blind as a bat has never been dive bombed by one of these buggers. So William. Nice. Torchy is fast, which reduces the attack a little bit, and the defense, which doesn't really matter too much. Fury has a 50% chance to apply 1 stack of burn to targets on a basic attack hit. Very useless in my opinion. Flying, pretty good. Agile, which doesn't even work. But yeah. Burn Siphoner. Heals for 25% of damage dealt when dealing damage to a burn target. So combining this with Solaris is like almost, like, probably, depending on how it's calculated, but probably about 50% lifesteal, which is pretty decent, except for that he has like almost no stats, so have fun like keeping Torchy alive. And Beastly Agility increases dodge chance by 3% for all beast allies. That's the one that we see here. 3% dodge is basically useless. You're never really gonna notice it. Bite does 687 damage. Okay. Bad out of heck. I think this was Bad out of hell, but they changed the naming on it because I guess hell was too offensive. I'm not sure. Yeah, anyways, free ranged physical attacks target enemy for a bunch of damage each that apply 1 stack of burned on hit. I'm not sure if it applies 1 stack of burned per attack hit, like if it applies 3 stacks of burned, but it doesn't really matter if it's 1 or 3 stacks of burned, it applies burned, which is pretty decent. Melee physical bite attack on target enemy for a bunch of damage that applies silence for 2 turns on hit and start powered. Pretty decent. Does a good amount of damage and silences for 2 turns. Kind of sucks that it's only 1 enemy that gets silenced. Like if you compare this to Nivea's first ability, which freezes the initial target and silences all the other. Yeah, you can see the difference between a legendary and a bronze hero pretty quickly. And another melee physical bite attack on target enemy for a bunch of base damage that applies 2 stacks of burn on hit. Deals double damage to targets who are already burned. Pretty good, pretty good. 3 turns, 6 turns, holy hell. Bro, that's a hefty cost. No epics yet, and yeah. I mean, Torchy never was too strong. I guess the damage is pretty decent. And then we have Jabber Feral Jaw. And we have the normal skin Clenched Jaw and the other skin Feral Jaw. Shredder deals an additional 25% damage to non-armored enemies. Pretty decent. Frenzied 6% crit. Yep, that actually works. Deals an additional 25% damage to goblin enemies. Yeah, he always was against goblins in some form of way, I guess. Poisoned on crit. Applies 1 stack of poison for 3 turns on crit. Poisoned is pretty decent because it does percentage damage depending on applying each turn and each ability used. So can do a bunch of damage in 1 round. And increases attack by 10% for all nature allies, which also works nice. So the stats are pretty decent. I mean, he's only at 5 stars. Basic melee physical claw attack. I don't know why it specifies claw attack, because we don't have anything that boosts claw attacks, but okay. At least for like Torchy you had bite attack. And bite attacks can actually be boosted by, I think, Hopper and Creel. I'm not sure. One of the reptiles has boosted, bite attacks. Beast mode, probably his best ability. 4 melee physical attacks on target enemy for a bunch of base damage, then applies fear to the target for 2 turns. Like 4 instances of damage is pretty good, and fear for 2 turns is also really strong. Melee physical attack on target enemy for a bunch of base damage plus 20% damage for each debuff on the target. Decent. But if you're like running a full beast team, there's not too many debuffs you could apply. I mean, obviously burning, obviously poison, and then I think Wrath has like 2 more debuffs that he can apply. So I mean, it's 80% bonus damage if all of them are applied, so it is decent. And melee physical attack on target enemy and 2 random enemies for a bunch of base damage each that applies 1 stack of poisoned on hit. So if it's only 1 enemy, I guess you can apply 3 stacks of poisoned with 1 ability. 5 turns. Holy hell. Yeah. None of them are boosted and all of them are 5-turn cooldown. Yeah, he's definitely not useful for PvP. I'm probably not gonna run any dungeons or like any PvP with them, because PvP is still heavily broken. Like, it's basically like maybe 10 heroes that you can actually use, and none of them really are the heroes that you want to use. So yeah, as I said, I think Solaris and Wrath are probably the only 2 that you want to use in some way. I think Solaris is pretty decent for the Tower of Ponage or PvE in general. Probably best in like Echo, Rayla and Lorelei team, so you can just constantly keep her last ability, Fire and Flames, ready for whenever someone of your team dies, that you can just revive your whole team and give them invincible. But other than that, Gladiator Wrath is pretty decent for PvP, pretty decent against construct teams, because he hits twice with his basic. And yeah, Torchy and Jabber, not so much. I wouldn't recommend using them. Maybe a little bit in PvE for a bit of fun if you want to run a full beast team. But other than that, yeah, don't use them. Okay. And with this, I'm gonna leave you here. If you have any questions, write them in the comments below. Message me on Discord, wherever. Either message me on the official Dungeon Boss Discord, or if you are in the Infinite Discord, I am also in there. I'm currently not in any guild, because I'm not really online every day. I'm only hopping in every now and then when there's an update, or as we have it, a new event. And actually tomorrow on Friday there's gonna be a new event of reptiles and monsters, I think it was. So we're gonna see 4 new heroes, new in asterisks, not asterisks, new kind of, not really, I mean they're Dungeon Boss original heroes. So we're gonna see some new old faces, I guess, and I hope they're worth it. Like I'm mostly very optimistic about their return, and I'm looking forward to using Sybil and Grondar again, because they are coming, and 2 more that I don't remember, but those 2 are the ones that I actually care about, Sybil and Grondar. Alright, catch you in the next one. Bye bye.